Fort Worth Star-Telegram, saying, "I'm great." He said the boot was for precautionary reasons because, quote, "the last time I went deep sea fishing, my ankle swole up. Yeah, that's right. Prescott said it was the, quote, "same ankle, same issues that he has been dealing with since undergoing season-ending surgery for a fractured ankle in 2020. All right, we got our NFL squad here. Chris Carlin, Sam Acho joining the conversation, and of course, Courtney is here as well. Carlin, I'm gonna start with you. Are you concerned at all about Dak's ankle?
No. We're still in July here. I don't get worked up about this kind of thing until it's time for training camp, and then he's not on the field and he's in a walking boot on the sideline. Am I going to get concerned about it then? Sure, absolutely, I'm going to get concerned about it then. If you're Dak Prescott, right now you are doing everything possible to make sure that you are 100% healthy for this season, because this is an incredibly important season because the owner lets you out on an island once again without a contract. So Dak has to do everything possible to make sure that he is going to be ready. One question I do wonder about, Courtney, is this the potential hold-in preparation type situation of, I got a boot, I'm going to make sure I'm ready to go. Doesn't want to get fined for holdouts, but maybe I don't need to be out there.
Then I don't think you rush to the table right now if you're Dak's representatives to try to get a deal done, because you blow all the leverage that you have rightfully and wisely gained and used at this point to kind of sit back, chill, see how things play out here, because his price every day that he is not paid keeps going up and up and up. It's not that as if this is something that the Cowboys are going to say, yeah, we're not going to pay you now, because if history has shown us anything, we can call their bluff on all of this. Week 5 of the 2020 season is when the compound fracture happened. The ankle dislocation. The year later, they give him the franchise tag as a placeholder, and then they pay him. So they know what's good for them is not having quarterback futility and paying your franchise guy. And even last year, Joe Burrow ended up having that calf injury in training camp, misses a bulk of it, and gets the big deal on the eve of the regular season starting, which ended up resetting the market. I have no qualms about this with Dallas whatsoever, particularly when it comes to Dak. He's played this right the entire time. And maybe it's something that if you're in the front office in Dallas, you're like, okay, how severe is this? Is it an issue? But I don't think this is something that's going to change the trajectory and the timing of getting him paid.
Yeah, I have no concerns whatsoever with the picture of Dak Prescott in a walking boot from however many weeks ago. He's no longer in the boot, number one. Number two, this is the 6, 7, 8 or so weeks where you're actually off. And so he doesn't report until July 25th. So even if there was a minor issue, it'll be resolved by then. And then last piece is this. I know, Carlin, you talked about the idea of maybe a hold in. I don't believe that's on the table at all. Like, even that idea, it doesn't even sound realistic or make any sense. If you talk to anybody in the locker room or anybody who's around the Cowboys or that knows Dak or that's watched Dak, that's not his personality. That's not the way that he goes about his business. And that wouldn't be wise, because like Courtney said, it's wiser to actually let this contract play out and then watch the salary cap rise, other quarterbacks get paid, and all of a sudden you have another MVP caliber season. Now you're in a higher tide and you may get more money. And so for me, I have no issues with the picture of the walking boot. And also, I don't think there's any groundwork being laid for any potential hold in.
Okay, listen, Sam, I know that this is how he operates, and I respect that this is how he operates. But why does he have to continue to operate this way? What has it gotten him so far other than pushed and pushed and pushed back? Like, what?
It's got him $160 million.
I understand that, but that's the last time around. And how long did it take Jerry to pay him then? It's franchise tag. Then we finally pay him. And now we're at the same spot. We're at the same spot again. And I look at guys like Zach Martin, like, how do I have to force Jerry to pay me? Don't show up. Don't show up, and that will get me paid. And at what point is it no longer about the player consistently having to be the one to take the risk and go out there and play this year and hope at this age, further down the line, third contract, mind you, that's definitively going to happen. He'll definitively get paid even if I get hurt.
Yeah, it's at the point where, like Courtney just mentioned, in 2020, he has a severe injury and he still ends up getting paid 4 years, $160 million after that big-time leg injury. That's the point one. The other point is in this current contract, there's a no trade, no franchise tag clause in his current contract. That's the point two. And then point three is that Jerry Jones has proven he'll pay the guys that he wants to pay. And he did it with Jerry Jones. He wanted to pay Jerry Jones. That's what he did. And so Jerry Jones, he wanted to pay Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones wanted to pay Dak. And so he's proven that, Dak at least has proven that if I go out and I play, injury or not, I will, or at least historically, I have gotten paid. And so if I try to hurry up and rush to the table, or maybe I try and hold in, that's not even it's not who he is. If it was somebody else, maybe they would try, maybe it would work, and it was a different situation. But the situation doesn't require that from Dak right now. Maybe CD, it might require that. CD hasn't got paid yet. Dak has, and Dak believes he will again, whether in Dallas or somewhere else.
If Kirk Cousins could get $100 million guaranteed at 36 years old, coming off a ruptured Achilles tear, Dak Prescott has no issue waiting. I mean, honestly, push this thing out. I think we've all said it before. Play them the way that they're playing you. Rake them over the coals when you have the chance. And if that means playing this year in a quote-unquote contract year, the Dallas Cowboys are not going to let him go after this year. They may have a more expensive price tag associated with their quarterback who has the chance to, in theory, test free agency, but he's not going anywhere. He's going to remain in Dallas. They don't want to have all of those years of quarterback futility, the Aikman to Romo gap. They've been through that before. They don't want to do that again. They're eventually going to pay Dak Prescott. This injury has no bearing on when it's going to happen and how it's going to happen. It's when. It's just like the timeline of that. It's not an if thing.
But then why? Like, why are you not doing this right now?
Chris, this is the way they do business, and it's frustrating to all of us watching it. I imagine it's frustrating as hell to the players too, where you perform, you are the offense in a lot of respects. If you are someone like CeeDee Lamb, who was second in contested catches last year, or rather yards after the catch, all of the deep balls that he caught, and he's thinking to himself, how come I didn't get paid yet? They like to dictate player market value because they have the arrogance to think that they can do that. You know what they end up doing at the end of the day? Zach Martin example, like from last year to a T, they end up paying guys. It's just, for whatever reason, they like to leave the drama here. And I think that this is going to affect their Super Bowl chances for this year. The best teams don't have these massive questions of contracts around you as a distraction leading into the season. Yes, I understand what happened with the Chiefs last year when Chris Jones had the holdout, had to miss the first game, whatever. They also had somebody named Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. But with the Dallas Cowboys, you've got not only Dak, you've got CeeDee Lamb, eventually Micah Parsons needs to get paid, Zach Martin. That's a lot of stuff floating around in the air, which if you're focused on a Super Bowl in a year, that might be your last chance, where your coach might be out the door if they don't get past a 12-win season into the playoffs and actually win. Might want to handle those issues sooner rather than later.
Okay, let's keep it there, talking big picture Super Bowl. Acho, would you be surprised if the Cowboys won a Super Bowl this season?
I don't know if surprise is the right word. I think I'd use the word maybe amazed, astounded, bewildered, befuddled. Pick an adjective. And the reason why is this: stunned. Throw out stunned out there as well. It's been nearly 3 decades since the Cowboys not only won a Super Bowl, but appeared in a Super Bowl. And there's been a myriad of different quarterbacks, coaches, receivers, star defenders on that team. I mean, think about guys like DeMarcus Ware has been on teams that have been successful. Tony Romo, coaches, right now you have current coaches, past coaches, yet the consistent piece has been the same GM and the same owner in Jerry Jones and a lack of playoff success. And so that hasn't changed, right? Like, the talent is still there. I remember when I was in Arizona, my 3rd year in Arizona, and Bruce Arians, right now he's a Super Bowl winning coach of the year. He had a saying, and we walked into our meeting room. We were at 5-11, came off of a 5-11 year. He looked at us, he said, talent isn't the issue. That's not the reason that you all have been losing. It's something different. He talked about, for us, it was trust, loyalty, respect, and we built that. Fast forward, we went 10-6 that year, 11-5 the next year, and won the playoffs. My point is this: with Dallas, talent is not the issue. There's so many other distractions, so much other stuff going on with the Cowboys that, to me, doesn't point to saying, oh yeah, this is going to be the year that they go and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I get it. And the owner is causing a lot of those problems by not paying guys. But that aside, would I be surprised if they won a Super Bowl? I'd be mildly caught off guard, perhaps, primarily because they have that talent. And we look at last year, and we were all very surprised when they lost as badly as they did to the Packers at home. And then this offseason, we're all in, we do nothing. And you lose a couple of guys in your offensive line. I think they did some things in the draft that are going to get overlooked here that need to be recognized. Number one, they needed offensive linemen. They drafted 2 in the first 3 rounds, guys who are plug-and-play guys, and Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe. Number 2, they added another pass rusher with Marshawn Nealon. These are all guys that when you talk to people around the league leading into the draft, they feel like they're going to be able to walk in the door and help right away. I don't look at the NFC East as a world-beating situation. I really don't. I think the Eagles are not going to win 11 games again, and Giants and the Commanders are not very good. I wouldn't be stunned. I'd kind of be like, they finally broke through.
I will use the word surprised because ESPN Bet has them, I think, 9th best odds, so plus 1,800. So there's 3 other teams in the NFC alone that have a better shot of winning the Super Bowl than the Dallas Cowboys. San Francisco, for obvious reasons. Detroit, a team that should have won in Dallas had it not been for the ineligible lineman snafu that we saw last December. And then the Philadelphia Eagles, so a team in their own division, which is markedly better right now than the state of the Dallas Cowboys and has less distractions around Dallas. I still think this is an AFC league right now, and the winner of the Super Bowl is probably coming out of the AFC. But for Dallas to be that far down the list, and if they end up winning the Super Bowl after we've seen, if history teaches us anything, how they've performed in the postseason the last 3 years, I don't have that much confidence that they'd get there. So if they do, color me surprised.